What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV coming to you from Switzerland. Let's talk about the things to know. Let's talk about transportation and getting around Switzerland. So Switzerland is one of the few countries in the world where you absolutely do not need a car to travel or get around. You can easily get around on trains all through the Swiss Alps. And if there's not a train, there's a bus. So public transportation in Switzerland is some of the best in the world. Also, in the cities, they have trams, they have Uber, they have taxis. I could have taken an Uber or a tram from the train station where I arrived from Munich this afternoon to my hotel, or I could have taken an Uber, but I took a taxi. Now the taxis are expensive. Everything is expensive in Switzerland, which we'll talk about in the next segment about how expensive is Switzerland. Let's talk about something. Is Switzerland expensive? The answer is yes, it is expensive. Hotel rooms, if you're lucky, you can get them for about $150 per night. But by the way, a euro and a Swiss franc are about 1-to-1 on the conversion rate. So far, I've paid $400 for a hotel room, basic hotel room. I've paid $200 for a hotel room. I should say 200 francs for the hotel room. And tonight I'm paying about 156. I would say that the cities like Zurich and Bern more expensive than the towns. So that's the good news. As you go into the towns, you find better prices, but in the cities, very expensive. Now, one of the other unique things about Switzerland is even though they're in the EU, the European Union, they use the Swiss franc. So they don't actually use the euro, okay? The euro currency, they use the Swiss franc. And the Swiss franc is probably the most valuable currency I've ever seen. I mean, you thought Japan was expensive, but the Swiss franc, very valuable, more so than the dollar. So when you see something for $345, that's $345 Swiss franc. That's how much my hotel room at the Marriott cost tonight. That hotel in New York City, in peak season, probably the same price in New York as it is here, but this is Zurich. So do keep that in mind about the currency. All right, let's talk about the premier destinations in Switzerland. So as you go up into the Swiss Alps, you get into those glacier villages, Lauterbrunnen. You get Grindelwald, and then even St. Moritz, and where the Matterhorn is, that is in Zermatt. So many Alp villages, but also there's premier places like the cities. There's Lucerne, which is on the lake, just at the base of the Alps. Very beautiful place. I'm here in Zurich right now, walking around, showing you Switzerland here, but there's also Geneva. So those are just some of the main places to add to your list to check out. But Interlaken, St. Moritz, Zermatt, Grindelwald, Lauterbrunnen, those are some of the premier towns and villages. So people want to know, can you visit Switzerland easily? Do you need a visa? All you need to do is get into the Schengen zone. Okay, that's the European Union, and from there, you're good, you're in. So yes, if you're from the United States or wherever you're from, Canada, if you get into the EU, you can easily get into Switzerland. So you just got to get here, you know. But it's part of the European Union, Schengen zone. So just some quick facts to know about Switzerland. It's actually made up of 26 different cantons. A canton essentially is like a province or a state. So when you hear Bern of Canton or Davos of Canton, that's what they're talking about, is the province. Now, there are also some other things you'll want to know, like the language they speak here, mostly German and French. You hear a little bit of Romanish and some English, but most things are really going to be in German. Now, another thing that you'll want to know when visiting is the currency is the Swiss franc, and it is about 1-to-1 with the euro. It's about 0.91 to the US dollar, but you'll always want to check the conversion rate at the time of your arrival. And did you know that only 15% of the Alps mountain range actually exists in Switzerland? But 200 of the tallest peaks in all of Europe are right here in Switzerland. The majority of the Alps are actually in Italy and Austria. And you can add France into that list. But also, did you know that the population of Switzerland is around 8.6 million people? It's a very small country in terms of size, of landmass, and in terms of population. Switzerland, not very diverse, but if you want diversity in Switzerland, go to Geneva. Well, I was halfway tempted to walk the 2 miles to Murren, but it is raining so much. All right, let's talk about weather. As you can see right now, it is raining. I am here in April, in spring. But as you know, Switzerland is known as a skiing destination as well as an outdoor paradise. It depends on what you're being drawn to Switzerland for. Obviously, in the winter and spring and fall, you can ski. Probably even in the summertime. The Alps, look at them. They get lots of snow. It's April 7th. So the weather, the best time of year to visit just depends on the activities that you want. Here in spring, you get a mixed bag. You get cold weather, and then you get beautiful weather, sunny, with flowers. You can see even the flowers are blooming. But yes, in between there, you will get rain. I would say all time is a good time to visit Switzerland, even in the winter. It's just going to be a different type of experience than in the summer, of course. This here is Spisch, right next to Interlaken. From here you can easily get to Grindelwald and Lauterbrunnen. What a beautiful place. Even though it looks cold, not too bad. It's tolerable, very tolerable. How about some more things to know about Switzerland's national identity? Fondue. Chocolate. We all know Swiss chocolate. Very popular. The Alps, like where I'm at now. Right here in Lauterbrunnen. Also, beer. Just like the Germans, bratwurst. They love their meat here. They really do. Swiss meat, some of the best. 25% of Switzerland is actually foreign nationals. 75% of the country's population is Swiss, but 25% foreign nationals. Also, Switzerland is known to have some of the highest standards of lifestyle anywhere in the world. Geneva and Zurich being in the top 5 for the best places to live for lifestyle. Lots to know about the national identity of Switzerland. Also, home of the Red Cross. You know the flag, Swiss flag, and you know the non-profit organization, the Swiss or the Red Cross. Might as well just call it the Swiss Cross. Look at that, Swiss Alps for you. Lots of hiking, glaciers, and all that jazz. Let's talk about things to know about language. Can you get by with English in Switzerland? Yes, but it's not the easiest place to get by with the language of English, because in the west part of Switzerland, they speak French. Like here in Geneva, they speak French. And in the east and the north part, they speak German. And kind of in the south, they speak a Romanish language. All right, let's talk about some important things to know about Switzerland's pricing, because this is something that people always want to know. Is it expensive? Yes, it is. Just to give you an idea of how much things cost, I'll tell you right now. We walk through this neighborhood. So the average dinner is around $40 per person, or 40 francs also. Maybe a little bit more in dollars. Breakfast is around 20 francs. Okay, the average hotels on the low end can range between $80 to $374, but go as high as $1,000 per night. Okay, obviously some towns are going to be more expensive than others. Geneva and Zurich are the most expensive cities in Switzerland, but here in a place like Zermatt, where I'm at right now, hotels cost starting at $700. Here's some tricks for saving money. I would say go to the villages that are not as popular and stay there, but make sure there's a train station nearby. I've discovered that some of the villages tend to be more affordable and more cheap than the cities, but not a place like Zermatt. Zermatt is more expensive, but also take into consideration peak season. All right, guys, that's going to conclude this episode from Switzerland. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did and subscribe. See you on the next video.